California was always warm, even in winters. The ocean breeze could caress your skin like a lover's touch or slap your face with salt and chill. It depended on how the winds felt that day, but none of it ever touched Sophia Torres. Not really. She glided through life as if its elements feared her. She was everything men craved: tall, curvy, in all the right places, with skin like polished honey and eyes like smoked emeralds. Her lips were always red, always wet. Her laugh could melt the bones of the strongest man. Her body, dangerous, addictive, was a gateway, and every man who entered never came out the same. They saw her in Malibu that first week. She arrived in a crimson convertible, like sin on four wheels. No past, no explanation. Only whispered rumors followed in her wake. Vegas, Palm Springs, Montecito. A trail of rich men with vacant eyes and hollow bank accounts. Harold Richards was a real estate mogul, worth $120 million, divorced twice, always looking for a young thrill. Sophia found him at the rooftop party in West Hollywood. She wore a backless silk dress that clung to her like fog and smelled faintly of roses and fire. Within 2 weeks, she moved into Beverly Hills mansion. Within 2 months, she married him. And in the third month, Harold was dead. Heart attack, they said. He was only 51. At the funeral, Sophia wore white, tight, laced-up sides, with a veil so thin it was almost obscene. She didn't cry, but she kissed his coffin like a lover, slow and sensual, her lips lingering, as if whispering a secret no one else could hear. A month later, she sold the mansion. She was richer now, more glamorous, her beauty sharpened with grief and money. And then she vanished. Sophia reappeared in San Francisco, dressed in high fashion and smelling like French perfume and decadence. Mark Bennett, a renowned neurosurgeon, met her at a gallery opening. She admired the sculptures, he admired her curves. He was thoughtful, kind. She played the damsel. Men like Mark wanted to rescue someone. Sophia gave him someone to save. He proposed after 5 weeks. The wedding was private, elegant, and strange, held on a foggy cliffside at dusk. She wore black. Mark wore white. It was her idea. 2 months in, Mark stopped showing up to work. Pale, shaky, paranoid. He told a colleague that Sophia whispered to him at night in a language he didn't understand. Words that crawled into his brain and stayed there. He said he felt drained every morning, like something had taken from him while he slept. One morning, Mark's body was found at the foot of their cliffside mansion. He had jumped or fallen, or maybe he was pushed. The only witness was a raven, perched above his twisted body, watching silently. The press began to notice the pattern. 2 wealthy men, 2 sudden deaths. One radiant widow who never stayed long enough to answer any questions. A private investigator named David Carter started digging. He tracked her purchases, travel records, and the companies she suddenly inherited. But her past was smoke and mirrors. Every time he thought he had something solid, it crumbled in his hands. He found photos from 20 years ago. She looked the same, not similar, The same. Same curve of the hips, same tilt of the smile, same hypnotic eyes. He found obituaries going back decades. Wealthy men, mysterious deaths, different cities, one common thread. A woman named Sophia, always with a new last name. Griffin got obsessed. He thought about her day and night, even in dreams. He started seeing her face in strangers, hearing her voice in the wind. It was like she had reached through the files and crawled into his mind. One morning, he woke up in his apartment, with scratches down his back, and no memory of how they got there. He dropped the case the next day. Then came in Antonio. Antonio was younger than the other husbands, only 38, a Silicon Valley tech billionaire with a beach house in Santa Monica and a god complex. He liked to dominate. Sophia liked to let men think they had control. She showed up at one of his charity events in a wine-colored dress that glistened like blood. He couldn't take his eyes off her. Their courtship was a wildfire. Passionate, messy, loud. Antonio had never met a woman who made him feel like the prey. He married her out of fear that he might lose her, that she might disappear and take part of him with her. And she would have. Their wedding was held at night, under a blood moon. Sophia's choice again. Always her choice. Guests joked about the goth vibe, but no one could stop looking at her. She was unreal. After the honeymoon, Antonio's health began to fade. Not physically, but spiritually. He grew hollow. He no longer felt joy. He said he saw shadows moving in the corners of their penthouse. He became obsessed with her, needed her around constantly, couldn't sleep without her lying on his chest. She would hum to him in bed, her breath hot against his ear, the melody strange and ancient. He said it sounded like a lullaby meant for dying stars. He started seeing a second version of her in mirrors, her smile darker, her eyes entirely black. One night, he snapped. He locked himself in his tech lab and tried to hack into every security feed, every camera in their home. He rewound, fast-forwarded, enhanced. He found footage of her walking through the walls, standing perfectly still for hours, not blinking once, talking to empty rooms where voices whispered back. Then he disappeared. No body, no blood. Just one word smeared in condensation of the window. Mine. Sophia wasn't her real name. She had many. Lilith, Anna, Lamia, Countess Bathory. The stories had changed, but she hadn't. She had walked through centuries with lips painted in blood and sorrow. She didn't age. She didn't feel regret. Her hunger was vast and old, and woven into the fabric of desire itself. She had been hunted once, burned, drowned, cursed, but men always brought her back. They desired her, needed her, willed her into existence again and again, their lust more powerful than their fear. And so she kept returning to cities where men had too much money, too much ego, places where wealth wrapped itself around power and loneliness. She didn't just seduce them, she consumed them, piece by piece, night by night. She took their dreams, their will, their essence, until they were nothing. And she always left before the rot reached the surface. Finally, Sophia was in Los Angeles again. staying in a hotel overlooking Sunset Boulevard. She watched the neon lights flicker in the dark and sipped champagne with lips stained the color of clotted roses. She had a new name now, a new wardrobe. Her hair was darker, curled like temptation. She already had her next target in sight. Brad Murphy, a film producer, net worth $160 million, recently divorced, mid-40s, owned a private villa in the hills, and a yacht called the Siren's Call. He liked his women young, pliable, and mysterious. Sophia met him in an underground club in Silver Lake. She wore velvet that night, deep midnight blue. Her dress hugged every sinful curve of her body, and her perfume made men forget their own names. Brad brought her a drink. She smiled, and the rest was inevitable. She would marry him in a month, and he would die screaming in his sleep, dreaming of drowning in a sea of her eyes. But this time, something changed. Sophia began to feel watched. Mirrors started showing things they shouldn't. Not her reflection, but a twisted version. Pale, monstrous, ancient, true form pushing through. She would keep waking up at night with bruises on her thighs and fingerprints on her throat, not her own. Whispers came back, only now they didn't obey her, they mocked her. She saw shadows where there were none. Crows began following her during the day. At night, the wind called her by the first name, the real one. The veil between what she was and what waited beyond had grown thin, too thin. Centuries of hunger had caught up. The men she had drained were starting to bleed through the seams of her world. Their lost souls had gathered. They were waiting. Brad Murphy, it turned out, had a secret. His grandmother was a witch. His home was warded. His bloodline was marked by old vengeance. And when he married her, he smiled because he knew. Their wedding was a quiet affair at his estate. That night, he poured her wine, laced with an ancient root. She drank it. Her strength faltered. Her glamour cracked. He chanted words he'd been taught long ago. And when she screamed, the sound tore through the hills like thunder. She ran, but found no door would open. The spirits of her husbands appeared in every mirror. Harold, Mark, Antonio, pale, cold and watching. Brad stood before her, holding an obsidian blade. He didn't need to stab her. The spell was older than knives. The only thing he needed was to speak her true name. And when he did, Sophia, Lilith, Velvet Widow dissolved. Not into ash, but into shadows, into screams, into wind. Brad sold the estate 6 months later, left the country, moved to Iceland, they said. The tabloids had a field day. Another rich man widowed, no body found. Some said the woman never existed, just a fantasy, a mirage. But in the hills of Los Angeles, on certain nights, men still claimed to see a figure in velvet standing by the roadside, beautiful, smiling, and waiting. If you enjoyed the video, like and share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.